Proper Punters, brought to you by CrossBet. Are you ready to level up your punting game?
Welcome back to another week of Proper Punters. I'm here with just the two of us today, back with the OG team.
Yeah.
Tommy Forward, how are we?
Yeah, no JC, unfortunately. But
no JC.
No, I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Mate, pretty good. I thought before we go into it, because we're only pretty much got three races to really dissect before we go through the best bets. We've got the Hunter in Newcastle, we've got the 1,000 Guineas, and what was the other race in Melbourne?
The Sir Rupert Clark.
Sir Rupert Clark.
That's it.
I thought, why don't we have a little chat about some of the horses to follow out of...
Yeah, definitely.
Who are they for you? I think we've landed on... I think, for me, 3-year-old Switzerland.
Definitely. That was one of mine as well.
I've been banging on that he was the better 3-year-old for a while.
Yeah, and we were right in the end and got paid well for it, actually. I think $6.50, $7 was around.
His win that day was impressive.
Yeah. I mean, and they went quick too, and he still put him to the sword, kicked away, eased. It was super impressive. What you want to see.
I'll tell you the other thing I want to say of, like, not so much horse to follow, Chris Waller when it comes to grand final day.
Yeah, when he sets him.
When you find the right horse of his, and yes, he does have multiple runners in the race, but when you do find the right Chris Waller horse in a grand final, you just know that they are cherry ripe.
Yeah, I think people want to make comparisons to Kieran Maher and Chris Waller. I think Chris Waller's peaks are better, but I think on a more consistent basis, Kieran Maher doesn't have sort of some off periods that Waller might have.
I think the difference is, though, I think Kieran Maher tends to have less multiple runners in a race, where Waller seems to have a lot of multiple runners in a race. Which, when you look at ROI and stuff like that, it's impossible to have a really high ROI when you have multiple runners in a race.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, but just like we said, like Switzerland, Via Sistina, fuck me dead.
Yeah, Via Sistina. He got Aeliana right for the Carbine Club. Now it's ready for the 1,000 Guineas. That Amelita, the horse that J-Mac rode in the Winx colours, like just so many winners. When he sets them and when he has a target in mind, he gets it spot on so often. Great to see. Hopefully Switzerland can race for another 6 months and we get to see it in the autumn.
Surely we'll get to see it go. Yeah. Like, I reckon as well, or maybe not, because they go 4-year-old. But you'd like looking at sprinters that we've got around, like, fuck, you'd have to look at the Everest next year.
Yeah, the money's on. The money's too good not to have a crack at it.
I know it's Coolmore, actually. If there's anyone that them and the Sheikhs, probably the only two people that don't really care that much about the money, and it's more about the prestige. And
I mean, what does it make if it goes to stud 50 mil a year compared to 10 mil for the Everest? Be great to see for racing, but I think they're going to be looking at their bank account for the breeding more.
Yeah.
Great race on the weekend, the Mr. Brightside victory. I don't know if you got to see the Champions Mile.
Was he Blinker's first time in that?
Blinker's first time as like an 8-year-old having its
I made a joke about it, and my grandfather, my pa, who got me into racing, he loves. Well, he's always it's probably where I get I do love the application. I used to do the form for Beyond Baker a long time ago, and he always used to say, he goes, my suggestion would be always blinkers. Like, I love blinkers.
Yeah.
As a punter, one thing I like about blinkers is it's a sign of intent.
Yeah.
If you're putting blinkers on a horse, it's a sign that it's all systems go.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think you made mention of it before, that also the mile race, the Christmas Mile, or whatever they call it now, it didn't have Champions Mile. It didn't have Cheo Wolf, who's probably...
I was just about to ask you, what do you think he would have done to that field?
From what we've seen of his last two starts, he's got to be the best miler in the country.
Oh, for sure. I think we didn't get to see the best of Fangirl. She was dynamic in that one win at Randwick. We didn't get to see the best of Pride of Jenny over the mile.
Well, she's been retired now.
Now exactly right.
Be interesting to see Fangirl goes around one more time.
Yeah.
One more season?
She's just turned 7 or just turned 6? I think just turned 7. So, another year, sure.
It could be her last. I'm tipping it will be her last season.
Autumn's never her best preparation in her form.
Exactly. Usually it's spring.
Yeah, just because of the wet tracks that we often get in autumn. We don't get to see the best of her. But, I think Chilwolf's the best miler, if not the second best horse in the country behind Via Sistina. I don't know who else stands up, maybe Bellinipatina or something like that. But I think he really just stamped himself as an elite miler.
I think the other, we did mention Switzerland as 3-year-old. I definitely, and I know you agree, broadsiding.
Yeah, we didn't get to see. I don't think he's the fully furnished product yet.
No, I totally agree with you there. I think he will be a horse that will... I think he'll furnish again.
Yeah. They might take the wait for age route, I think, next. Just do sort of the Chipping Norton, the Queen Elizabeth, perhaps that route, or maybe take it to a Doncaster, 4-year-old in a Doncaster.
Yeah, has worked in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they'll be aiming high with the horse, definitely.
No, he's still 3. Or is he not?
No, yeah, sorry. He'll be 3.
Yeah, 3.
I'm thinking they turn at the new year.
I think it'd be Switzerland, maybe aimed at like TJ.
Yeah, TJ. There's no big... there's no... The Newmarket, really, is the sprint race of the autumn down the straight. Could be aimed at that.
It could be aimed at that, seeing as though he's already won down the straight. Fuck, he was breathtaking.
Yeah, he was dynamic. Great to see. Yeah, I already missed the carnival. It makes me excited next April.
I know. I think this time of year now, we will see the tapering off of, obviously, the quality of the animals starting to taper off as we head into Christmas.
Definitely.
One thing you do get to look forward to and keep an eye on is the 2-year-olds, watching the 2-year-olds and some of the 3-year-olds getting ready for Magic Millions, some of those Magic Millions horses.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the standout 2-year-old just yet. I was going to say what you thought.
No, definitely. I don't think we've seen a standout 2-year-old as of yet. No. One thing that I did think in watching those 2-year-old heats, I thought this season might not be as good as what it was last year.
Yeah.
Or we at the season.
Yeah, exactly right. We'll see how strong Gay's hand is. She usually has about 40 2-year-olds come through. Yeah. Waller hasn't shown Waller's not typically known as a 2-year-old trainer. I think he'll debut his good ones in January usually. It
is. It's funny that he can still win the 2-year-old premiership. Like he gets them right a lot later. Seems to get them, and he gets to get them right. He has one of
Yeah, absolutely.
He certainly. There's a lot of strings to his bow. But there's something interesting. So when does J-Mac... Is it after this weekend that he goes to Hong Kong?
Yeah, they're big race days early December.
But he's going for like a month or so, isn't he? I think.
Yeah, I think he's got a month license. Romantic Warrior resumes this weekend, but he won't be riding it, I don't think, unless he flies over Saturday night after winning on Aeliana in the 1,000 Guineas.
We'll get to that.
He might go over to Hong Kong. For Sunday, I'm not too sure.
I heard a few of the jockeys. You reckon they're packing his bags for him?
yeah. Nash and Jason Collett, are they second and third in the jockeys premiership?
They'd just be like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, they're ringing Waller saying, can I have all the $2 pops that J-Mac gets, please?
Yeah, insane.
I know.
All right, let's start off in Sydney. We go straight to the Newcastle Hunter. Interesting card.
Yeah, it is actually.
It's how do you think track will play?
Oh, Rail True Newcastle. I think it's one of the fairest tracks in New South Wales. In that Rail True,
it's currently a soft 6.
Yeah, a little bit of rain around. I think that just means the inside will be inferior.
Yeah.
Lanes 10 to 15 off the fence. It's such a wide open track, Newcastle.
It is. It's one of my favourite places to bet when you are in that true track, and it does.
Yeah, running line off midfield, swooping I think will be where you want to be. Inside fences and tucked away on the fence will just be trouble.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually speaking, that's how it tends to play.
Yeah.
And I think as the day gets later, they do start to come off the fence a little bit more and can get overplayed. But as you know, I do think wider the better. And if you can do it without the work, as you said, I don't think you want to get too far back. It's never great. I don't think you ever want to be dead last.
Yeah.
But if there's a day you can do it, it can sometimes be this day.
Absolutely.
One of my big black bookers horse I've been in love with for a very, very long time is Briasa, and it is 440 in the 280.
I know, incredible.
How's the pace look?
Pace looks strong, which suits the horse we're going to talk about. Pace looks strong. Coal Crusher from 15, going to fly across. Won this race last year, defending its crown. Only knows one way, and that's just to the front, lead at a strong tempo. Felix Majestic and Fearson as well. They'll also be up there on the speed. Favourites Far Too Easy and Briasa, Private Eye as well. They'll all be ridden off midfield, gates 11, 12 and 13, I think. So they'll all be next to each other. interesting what the market's done with Briasa. I think they've backed it as if it's almost won the race. Like, it's coming off a Kensington Wednesday run where it was dominant, beat a nothing field, just it was all substance and all style, and bookies went up $4 equal favourite with Far Too Easy, and punters said that's wrong. We'll take the 290, we'll take the 350 down to 290 now. I think that's crazy. But then sometimes these big moves scare me. You see these horses, you go, that's under, surely. But the punters just know, I think.
Look, I definitely don't think you want to be diving into the price right now.
Mm-hmm. Like, Private Eye, $7.50. It's coming out of proper group racing, and you've got Briasa for a Kensington win, and punters want to be with it. It's crazy. It's as if the number's already on the board, and they're saying Briasa's just winning this.
Look. Rustic Steel's win was rather decent last start, but we're looking at Hawkesbury form.
Yeah,
you're looking at Far Too Easy won the Kosciuszko, which is an over-touted bush race.
It drew gate 1 on that occasion.
I don't think you've seen a horse get a better run.
No, suck run, gate 1. Interestingly, Kyle Wilson-Taylor rides this horse a bit in track work, hasn't won on the horse yet. 3 start goes on horse on race day, no wins, just a second placing.
Ooh,
all of its top wins have had Craig Williams or another jockey aboard.
Yeah, like a more senior rider.
Yeah, a more senior rider, and it draws out now, which I think it's just a big difference in race shape to what the horse had last start.
Yeah. So like when you look at it, so you break it down, because you want to say, you look at the 280. It seems, especially, and it's hard looking at it once. It's very hard looking at 280.
Yeah.
After you've looked at 440.
Yeah.
How many people in Australia got the 440? Probably one.
Yeah.
Probably got on the win 1,000.
Yeah.
But you then go on and you look, came straight in the 370, 380, then boom in the 330. So like to me, you're kind of looking at 380 to 280. That's how I look at it from in a way affirming.
Yeah.
I think. I love the horse. I really do love the horse. Am I diving in at 280 today? No. Am I 9 o'clock Saturday morning? Probably not.
I think.
But if I'm looking the other way of looking at it, where else? Like the other thing is you've got 120 something % on the board, so it's going to come down. The percentages will come down. There's got to be some sort of movement, but. Does it come for Far Too Easy?
Yeah,
I don't know. Private Eye, could it start shorter? It can't. It holds the best form in the race, but
39 starts, gate 14, 60 kilos. The markets tend not to gravitate towards that.
His form's incomparable to the field.
Absolutely.
But his form of recent, but at the same time, you go back 2 starts ago, you got beaten 1.5 lengths in Everest.
I know.
Wasn't the greatest Everest.
Yeah, are you looking at class, or are you looking at the 53 kilos up and comer? And I think,
and he does have the blinkers switched on again.
Yeah, I know, blinkers again, winkers off. Mr. Brightside, we were just speaking about it. These old horses, they can just get a spark when they get those blinkers on. See what the tracks. I mean, I think punters will echo sort of our thoughts. I think they have to be somewhat cold on Briasa on Saturday. I think we might get 320, 340. There has to be some sort of opposition. Not sure what they'll come from. I think that we might just get 320 from percentages coming down. We were cold on Far Too Easy for the difference in what the run it's going to get from suck run inside fence to now back wide running line. Not sure on the Kosciuszko form and how that stands up into this.
Yeah, exactly. It's
tricky race. If Coal Crusher, Nash aboard, interesting Nash is on Coal Crusher and not Private Eye. For the Joe Pride stable, won this race last year, gate 15.
Jay Ford's been on it its last 4 starts. He's become Joe Pride's man again.
I mean, and
he's been doing a good job. Jay Ford couldn't get a ride in town a few years ago. Now he's on all of Joe Pride's best horses.
Yeah, Cheerwolf. Absolutely. I think if Coal Crusher gets a soft run and they kind of let it have its way in front, could sneak a place, maybe. I'd be more inclined to take sort of $3.30 for it to run a hole with Nash on.
For me, this is how I've got it. I've got Briasa on top. Judah, he still has upside.
He's just a line chaser.
He just is.
I
really like, but I couldn't take under 2-1. I really couldn't take under the $3.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Private Eye second pick because I think if he can produce his Everest run, that's good enough to win this.
100%.
I don't want to back Far Too Easy. I don't want to back anything else in the race. If I had to throw a roughie in for a place, maybe Dakota Healy trialled well enough.
Yep, John O'Shea Fresh is
John O'Shea Fresh, horse races well fresh. He's the sort of horse. I think he's also won at the track.
He has too, track and distance win.
Yeah, track and distance win. This is he's a 1,300 metre horse. And it's that real funny sort of trip, the 1,300 metres. It's like 1,400 metres. Certain horses just love that sort of trip. I think Briasa is going to be one of those horses that does love this trip, even though he's yet to have. When did he run? What's he run? He's run at 12:50, so it's an extra 50 metres. But I do think this is really going to be the sort of trip that he does like.
Mm-hmm.
No weight on his back, gets beautiful running line. Schillen as the horse. I've got him on top. Not diving in at the current price, but definitely have him on top. I've got him to beat Private Eye. They're my two for the race.
100% agree. Just that up-and-comer. The way it's hitting the line, it just gives me the idea that if you keep rising it in grade, it's one of those horses that are just going to keep improving, keep chasing, keep finding that line and rising to the occasion. I think this is the horse, lightly raced. Hawks would have earmarked this race and will have it set. Private Eye has been around plenty of times. If the up-and-comer doesn't stand up and the class prevails, it's Private Eye head and shoulders above this field in terms of class. I mean, you sort of remove Private Eye and Briasa and you're sort of looking at a field that isn't out of place in a Kosciuszko of sort of benchmark 78 Wednesday.
It's like it is dead.
It's the worst Hunter I've seen away from the top of the market.
Away from the top. You take away the top of the market, it is a race full of...
which makes me think there's going to be some road bumps, some slow horses in their way.
That's my only thing with I don't know how much more Briasa, unless they came hard for Private Eye or something like that. It's going to be... I have a feeling they're just... The ones in the market are going to stay roughly where they are, and the roughies are going to get out to some really big odds. That's what I do think.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, let's go to the Sir Rupert Clark. We'll finish on the 1,000 guineas.
Okay.
How do you think Caulfield's going to play?
Caulfield, the rail is out 6 metres. I think you'll be able to run on. Typically, when Caulfield lane rail moves in is where you sort of see those lane advantages to the inside, when that fresh pad of grass is where that Caulfield is typically played. But actually, contrary to like Roanwick or Rose Hill, when that rail moves out at Caulfield, they can sort of come out in lanes 13, 14, 15 and swoop relatively easy, which I think is what we'll see on Saturday. Leading will be fine as it naturally is, but I think if you like something that's going to be running line, don't be afraid to back it. I think they'll get its chance depending on race tempo and race pattern. Looking at the Sir Rupert Clark now, strong tempo to sort of above average. Tuvalu, Buffalo River, Gentleman Roy, they'll be your speed influencers. They'll roll forward. Buffalo River might have lost its way, but I think its best chance of doing anything is by going quick. Another wheel draws beautifully, gate 5. I think they'll sit just in behind that speed. And then your other favourite, Jimmy Star, gate 1. That's a bit tricky. Concede that he'll be a couple lengths off and looking for the gaps, looking for the runs. I don't know if that's an advantage position to be in. I think the stablemate Another Wheel's got the better.
It certainly looks to be drawn better, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, is it a race in 2 in your eyes?
Not a race in 2.
We'll come back to those two in a sec. Southport Tycoon had a little bit of an inferior, interrupted run last start.
Yeah,
on the fence, was probably the better going, but did run into a bit of trouble. Come from last, cut the corner. Does I think go better Melbourne way of going?
Yeah, definitely does. It does prefer to go counterclockwise. I thought the Golden Eagle run was good without being great. It was, there was a forgive, but I think the forgive only elevates it maybe another length on what it did, and that still doesn't put it in the finish. But the run closer. The
run in the overpass run was a little bit flattish.
Yeah, it was a bit flattish off that Moonee Valley win, I thought, where it was great. Loved the tempo on and hit the line really strong. Then raced a bit flat. Then the Golden Eagle was so. Now back into this Sir Rupert Clark. It's a stablemate of the two favourites. Chance, but I think the other two favourites look better prepared and better set up for this race.
Yeah.
And sort of the weight pool that they have on Southport Tycoon, as well as the profile to be able to run a new peak, I think is pretty strong. Whereas I think we've seen the best of Southport Tycoon, this preparation anyway.
It's interesting too. You've got Jimmy Star 3 from 3 at the track, and then you've got another Wheel Force from 3 at the track.
Yeah.
They've got, they clearly both love Caulfield.
Absolutely.
Got held up a little bit on the fence, was able to pick up. He was dominant on the line.
Absolutely. And I thought Jimmy Star was in a better lane with more momentum, and I think another wheel had to pick itself up and was as strong or stronger than Jimmy Star. That's a sign.
I almost thought he looked a little bit laborious at the end.
Jimmy?
Just,
maybe did all his work from the 400 to the 200 or
was he like, do you think maybe he was just that little bit too far back and had to do maybe work that little bit too much?
Definitely, yeah. Loses Blake Shin as well, gets Damien Lane on.
Yeah, oh fuck, that's hand in hand. I don't think there's, some would say you're gaining and some would say you're losing. I think it depends who you prefer.
I think the gate 1 is the big negative for this horse. I think it wants clear room. I think it wants space to wind up. You think he's a better, Like he's better outside of horses and coming with that sweeping run.
Yeah.
Another wheel draw's perfect. I think they got it wrong in the 2-rack when leading on the horse. They just went too quick, and I don't think this horse likes leading. I think he needs a back to follow, come off and peel out strongest, and I think we saw that when it won at Flemington. Jamie will know. Jamie has a good affiliation with the horse, and I think it deserves to be favoured. I think the market will gravitate to favourite, and I think we'll see another wheel jump favourite on Saturday, and it's the horse I want to be with in this race.
Yeah, it's definitely. Just looking at the runs, I can't really find anything outside of them. I could make a very small case for Southport Tycoon to improve back Melbourne way of going.
Yep.
But and if they are running on, could suit it. Obviously drawn wide. The great Zaz on board. But yeah, I'm with another wheel. Yeah. I think he's a classy animal. I thought it's hard to take it off him, and I'm actually surprised he's not the one that's slight favourite.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
All right. Let's move into the Aeliana Stakes. 1,000 guineas.
Yeah. We've got Aeliana favourite. I'm just pull up the map, but I do know that Aeliana won't be contesting the lead. This horse is better ridden on with a sit. I've got Dominator and Tudor and Lizzie, the Gay Waterhouse duo. They'll be rolling forward, putting on a strong tempo. Tudor and Lizzie, I'm not sure if they'll put on a strong tempo. Is a query at the distance. Dominator, I think, will get the trip, and so if they want to take up the lead on Dominator, they can run at a tempo that they like. GG's Miss Truth as well will roll forward. Stage and Screen draws beautifully. I think it's a great each way outsider if the favourite doesn't stand up, but gate 3 it'll roll forward, be in the box seat. Aeliana, dynamic win at Flemington, came from off the speed, got speed to suit. I think they'll be ridden with a similar position again. Gate 11, J-Mac aboard, ridden off the speed. This horse showed an exceptional turn of foot. I was really impressed. As we spoke about at the beginning of the podcast, when Chris Waller gets them set, they just elevate. And this horse elevated. I don't think we've seen the best of it.
It's interesting to think of, it's this was her grand final. There's no doubting anything that this is the race that she was set for. She was breathtaking.
Yeah. I don't know if it was Melbourne way of going or what, but yeah, she clicked up to another gear from what she's done on her Sydney performances last start.
Well, she's by Castle Vecchio, getting out to probably the mile.
Yeah, absolutely, the mile and a decent tempo. But yeah, her turn. J-Mac gave it a let's go, gave it one whip on the shoulder, put it away, and just hands and heeled it.
And she was building through the line.
Lovely action. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, we were both keen that day. Got the chocolates for us there. I think. Yeah, 340.
Markets. There's some resistance. 330.
There's been great money for Zaytong. Very good money for Zaytong.
Yeah, which is interesting. I thought that was the inferior race.
I definitely think it's the inferior race. I do have a huge respect for the horse, though. I definitely think it's I want to say danger because I think she wins. I'm with you. I loved Aeliana. Wallace had a great record in this race. He's won it with his colours.
This is the 7th run of Zaytung this preparation as a lightly raced horse. Resumed in Canterbury in August and has been kept up this whole time.
It certainly seems like a very strange
preparation
for this race where you've got Aeliana third up, grand final day, won the lead up in an absolute hand canter. J-Mac's been on all 3 starts.
Yeah.
J-Mac Waller.
Yeah, J-Mac Waller grand final again. We've seen it all this carnival, sorry.
It's what we call a BTFU. It's a bet the fuck up.
Yeah, I'm with you.
This could be probably one of the better bets of the carnival, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it just has to, I think if it repeats its last start performance, it wins this, and I think others need to elevate to a level that Aeliana is already at.
Yeah, correct. She could probably even lose half a length and win this race.
Yeah. I think there's one roughie that could run just a place only, not on it for the win. But Let's Fly, number 12. I liked its win at Kembla Grange. Won by 5 lengths. The blinkers went on. It was really strong through the line. And the fact that the stable have put in a late nomination after that win, they think this horse could be up to it. If it improves again off that, the $7 to place, I think is great value. Gate 5, Declan Bates aboard. He'll be filthy after the Pride of Jenny sacking. He'll be looking for a Group 1. And, I'll be taking $7 as well as the...
You'll be taking the $7?
Yeah, as well as the $3.50 Aeliana win.
Yeah, I'm just sticking with Aeliana. I reckon she's probably the best bet on the card, best bet on the day, and probably one of the better bets of the carnival that we've had.
Love it.
All right, let's move into the best bets.
3 best bets this week. We'll stick with Caulfield as we've spoken. Caulfield race 7, Aeliana. Love this horse's win last start. The way he hit the line was beautiful. J-Mac sticks, Wallace sticks. We've seen it all carnival. They just get their horses right on the day, and this will be another one. Then we'll go to Caulfield race 9, another Will. Scratch from the Champions Mile last week for this race, the Sir Rupert Clark. I like this horse, drawn gate 5. Jamie will take a sit, peel out at the top of the straight, and I think this horse will be too good for the field. And then we'll head to Newcastle race 4, Bullets High. Love this win fresh. Then was a bit unlucky, hit the line strong last start. Nash has ridden all 3 runs this preparation. Third up to the mile. This horse has an exceptional turn of foot, and I think it'll be coming down the middle of the Newcastle straight with a booming run. 250 looks good value. Mace?
Mate, he's already tipped. Two of your 3 are my 2. I'm sticking with Bullets High for all the reasons that Tommy said. Love the win first start. Had way too much to do last start, just a little bit laborious, maybe even a little bit flat second up. I think he's ready to peak third up to the mile suits him. He gets better as it gets further. Nash sticks. I think he'll be extremely hard to beat. He's the best bet at Newcastle. And I'm going straight to the 1,000 guineas. I'm going with Aeliana. I'm sticking with the favourite. I think around the $3.50 mark is absurd. I reckon she's probably an even money pop. I reckon some of the best value that you will get all carnival. And it's on the last day of the carnival. Good luck and happy punting.
Cheers.
I think, that's going to be all right.
Yeah, love it.
See you guys next week.
What are you prepared to lose today? Set a deposit limit. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.